The hardest part with the base plate, which is what this part is really one, reading this drawing, right, and understanding how big it is, being able to pick out all the dimensions you need. And the second part is recognizing that your top and bottom have different holes. So some of the holes run all the way through, all right, as you'll notice here, through, I think that's it. And then there are some holes in the bottom that are tapped that don't go all the way through. They go down 0.2875. So that's kind of the two things that are confusing with this one. And then also just navigating. So if we go over to our inventor, we'll start a new sketch. We'll go here, and then we need to make a rectangle that's 11 inches wide by 4 inches tall, and we're going to extrude that 1/2 inch, and then we'll put the radiuses in. So we're going to go here, we'll hit rectangle, we'll say 11, tab 4. That draws our rectangle, finish the sketch, extrude it, 0.5. And so we have that. So we're going to go fillet, and then once we put the fillet in, we want this to be 0.5. Because if we look over here, the radius, 0.5, typical. So that means all 4 of these fillets have a 1/2 inch radius. So if we go back over here, and we will select. So if I click here, nothing happens. Just click where it says 0 selected, and then I can go and select my 4 edges. Okay, hold down the shift key, middle mouse button. Now let me rotate around. And then I have my 4 edges. So now I have the plate in place. So now we have to start looking at putting holes in it. So I'm going to Alt-Tab over, and let's look at our holes. So the first holes that we have, and we could do this however we want. Let's go ahead and let's do one drawing, and it kind of typically breaks my rules. I like to do one feature for one drawing for one feature, but for here, because these are all lined up on the same line, they're in the mid plane, and they come over different dimensions. You could do it either way. It doesn't matter. Notice that there's a hole here. Let's go ahead and put these in. All right, let's go and put these 2 in, and then we'll go and work from there. So we need a diameter of 1/4 inch. It is countersunk. All right, the 1/4 inch goes all the way through. Countersunk, and the countersunk size of the head is 1/2 inch by 82 degrees, and there are 2 of them, 1 and 2. So we are 0.4375 over from the midline. So we'll go here, draw a sketch, and we'll call this the top. And once we have this in place, we can draw a line, and we wait for that to turn green. Click, go up here, wait for that to turn green. So now I have the mid plane. Click it, make it a hidden line, and then I can place my point, place my point, place my point. Dimension that from the edge to the point as 0.4375. Let's double check that that's correct. Yep. And the same thing over here. Dimension this from the vertical line to the point, 0.4375. And finish the sketch. And we'll just do multiple sketches. It may not be the most efficient way to do it, but it keeps everything nice and simple, and you have to go back and change things. It's not really a big deal. So we're going to make a hole here. It's going to automatically find those. I need a countersink. I know I need this to be 82. I need it to be 1/4 inch, and I think that needs to be 1/2 inch. So I'm going to change this to 0.5. So that's the size of the countersink. So that needs to be 0.5. It's 82 degrees, and it runs all the way through. This goes all the way through, and hit OK. So now we have our countersink hole in there. So now we go do the next hole. We have a 0.3125, and there's 2 of those. So that is 1 and 2. They go all the way through. So let's go and put that in there. So it's going to be 1.5 over and 5.5 over. So we click here, draw a sketch. Put my line in place. Click it, right click, construction. And then from here, we can drop a point and drop a point. And then all we have to do is dimension it. Oops, I left the sketch, so just right click and say edit sketch. I accidentally canceled out of the sketch. And then let's put our dimensions in. Click that. Click. Drag it up. And I think that is supposed to be 1.5 and 5.5. So 1.5. Got to be in the dialog box or it doesn't work. And this is from here to here. 5.5. Finish the sketch. Make a hole. All right, so we know this one is going to be a 0.3125 hole all the way through. There's two of them. So hole, 0.3125 all the way through, done. So now I have a hole that goes all the way through, and this plate is shaping up nicely. So now the last thing we have to do is go to the bottom of the plate, and we're going to put in 4 tapped holes. So these are 832. So it's a number 8 screw that will go into it that has 32 threads per inch. UNC is the Unified National Code. It goes down 0.2875 in 4 places. So how deep you tap that hole is 0.2875. All right, so we need to come, so if we look at this, we look at how far each of these come over. And I don't see, am I just overlooking? So it's not lined up on those holes. Oh, so this can be kind of tricky. You can see that it is in the center point of that radius. So we know that's a 1/2 inch radius. All right, and this is bad dimensioning on the part of the people that put this drawing together. So we know we come over and down 1/2 inch because it is at the center point of that radius. I'm assuming that based upon this center point here, that's really kind of bad. You really should throw that dimension in there. All right, so we'll come in here. We're going to flip it around to the back. Okay, so the part that has the countersink is the top. We'll go down to the bottom. All right, we're going to draw a sketch. All right, and I'm going to start with the rectangle. Okay, I'm just going to draw the rectangle. Don't care where it is right now. I'm going to select it. I'm going to say construction. Okay, now I have my 4 points, right? So now all I have to do is say from here to here, 0.5, and go all the way around from here to here, 0.5, from here to here, 0.5, and last but not least, from there to there, 0.5, and that's defined. All I got to put in, 4 points, and then finish the sketch. So we're going to come over here, we're going to make a hole, and we talked about before, it is a tapped hole. Okay, so it is a tapped hole, which is right here. And then unified screws, we're going to go click the size and go up here to a number 8. So 832 UNC, that is our designation. And from then on, all right, we need to go down. So we're going to go distance. All right, so how far down? So if we look at this, how far down? 0.2875. So this is down 0.2875. All right, and this is going to air out because our threads need to be, or what we thread down to, 0.2875. So just so you know the difference here, this is the depth of the hole. So when you make tapped holes, you first drill out a hole, and then from there, you tap the hole, which is to make the threads. So what this is saying here is we're going to drill the hole, all right, and then we're going to a certain depth, and then we're going to tap it to a certain depth. You don't have to tap it the entire way, but you can. So in this case, we're going to tap it and drill it to the same depth. All right, so hit OK, and you'll notice that our holes do not run all the way through, and if we zoom in, you can kind of see that our tapped threads, the fake threads that Inventor puts in there, run all the way down. And so that is your part.